everybody. Thanks for joining me. This is Rabbi Wagensberg. Once again, as we approach the holiday of Passover, let us try to prepare ourselves even more for this incredible night called Leil HaSeder. I found a fascinating minhag, a custom from the Maharid of Bells, who tells us that some people customarily, right before the Manishtana, begin clapping their hands. Why do some people have the custom of clapping their hands before the recitation of the Manishtana, the famous 4 questions? He says that it's based on a verse speaking about the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, when it says, V'nishma kolo bivo'o el hakodesh. His voice will be heard when he enters into the sanctuary. The verse is telling us that when the high priest would enter into the Beis HaMikdash, you could hear his voice. What voice? You could hear his sound. What sound? Well, one of the begadim, one of the clothing worn by the Kohen Gadol was the me'il, a very long robe. At the bottom of that me'il, at the bottom of that robe, you had pamon verimon. There were pomegranates and there were bells all the way around. When the Kohen Gadol would walk into the Beis HaMikdash, those bells at the bottom of his robe would begin banging against each other and making a sound. Because it says in the verse that when the Kohen Gadol would enter the Beis HaMikdash, you could hear his voice or his sound. We have the custom, some of us, to clap our hands before the recitation of the Manishtana, which really begins the whole section of the Magid, the section of the Passover Haggadah, telling about the story of Passover, in order to remind everybody at the table that every single one of us is likened to a Kohen Gadol. And the table that we sit at is likened to the altar. The food we eat are like the offerings before Manishtana. We all clap our hands to make our sound, to make our voice heard, so that we remind ourselves we are all Kohanim Gedolim. We are all great priests about to enter into the Kodesh. This is the holiness of Passover night. As we begin to share and recite the Haggadah together, we are all being transported magically into the Kodesh, into the sanctuary, into the Beis HaMikdash. And that's something which I would suggest maybe to try this year and implement. Could you imagine everybody sitting around the table and only a few adults maybe know what's going on? And before Manishtana, everybody starts applauding, everybody starts clapping. Well, first of all, I'll tell you this much, it's going to get people's attention. Children will ask questions, and then you can share with them this answer, that tonight, children, tonight we're going to enter the holiest of places, the Beis HaMikdash. Our home will take on the sanctity, the purity of the Beis HaMikdash. We take on the holiness of the Kohanim Gedolim. So let's everybody together be present and appreciate and participate and try our best to get along with each other and get through the evening in such a joyous and happy way, sharing the deepest of lessons. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a very healthy and happy Passover. This has been Rabbi Wagensberg.